What up, what up? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for jamming along with me. That is the Church of Eight Wheels. That's my intro. That's my outro song. Hope everybody's doing well today. Happy Friday. A warm hello. And thank you, folks, for being here. Just give me a heads up. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Jump in the chat room. Just hit sub or whatever, and you can join the chat room. You can share your thoughts. It's Friday. What is it? September 12th, 2025. Time is flying. So, folks, how you doing? So if you're joining me live, it's great to have you. I want to hear your thoughts. I'd love to have you join the conversation and kind of share with me what you're thinking. If you're watching this later on replay, hopefully what I'm saying now is still valid, for the next few days, and it normally is. I try to stream twice a week. I end up doing it maybe sometimes more like just once a week, depending on what's going on in my life. These are fun extra streams that I do, because I want to touch base with you. I want to give you folks my thoughts on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the market. I want to continue to provide education. I want to continue to provide value. And for me, teaching helps me to get better. So thank you for being here. I am Cheds Trading on YouTube. I teach professional TA, classical charting, Japanese candlestick theory. I'm, of course, Big Cheds on Twitter and Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. Folks, just real quick, I do work with BingX, and I have worked with them for like 5 or 6 years. I have partnered with a new exchange for folks in the U.S. looking for somewhere to trade. Check out edgeX. I've got the link here on the video feed. I got the link on Twitter. You can check that out. While you're here, I've got a bunch of new interviews I've done recently. So like long form interviews. I try to bring really smart people together and bring them around, and we have a good talk. I'm recording a new one next week. I got a bunch of guests lined up, and I did the one with Fibbo Swanee just a week ago. Dude is super smart. He taught me a lot. And you probably think, what do you mean? Someone's teaching you? Well, I'm still learning, and I learned a lot from Fibbo. We talked a lot about like RSI and just market structure. So this will just be great. If you're looking to learn, check out that interview. I've been working really hard on this new playlist, folks, the Trading Encyclopedia, where I basically have 3-minute videos designed to teach you kind of anything you're looking to learn. Divergence, gaps, rate of change, any indicator, triple top, emotional management stuff, trading psychology stuff. And I'm also taking my books. I don't know if you know, but I published 4 books, and I'm making them basically all free. Cancer Memoirs free. I'm putting like the trading stuff in the Trading Encyclopedia, so check it out. I have a lot of thoughts I want to share with you on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and the market. I'll probably riff in those as usual, and I'll probably I'll search through some of my tweets to see topics and stuff. But if you folks want me to talk about anything, if you have any questions, just go ahead and jump into the chat and let me know while we're filling up the room. Thanks, John, Ryan, Revolution, everybody joining the chat. Thank you, folks, for being here. Hey, Matej. So I'm just going to riff for a little bit. So we're looking at Bitcoin, and it's essentially been the story of the trend. And what does that mean? Well, classical charting and Dow theory, you have the primary trend, okay? And then often you have a secondary, a corrective trend, and then some type of a minor trend within that. So you have the major trend, the minor, and then the secondary trend. And looking at Bitcoin, we've been looking at the weekly trend, incredibly strong. We've been looking at this consolidation state after this pair of spinning tops here, spinning top here. And by the way, a spinning top is really any small real candle body. This one's, we're kind of upper shadow featured spinning tops. And then the initial loss of the EMA 8 and drop back to the MA 20. And very generally, this has been, you can describe or you can view this as just a move back to the prior range peak, which is called a throwback. So generally, the weekly has been in consolidation, but also should be viewed as, in the context of a bullish throwback. And we see some initial response off of that, okay? But the weekly trend, what a point I want to make is weekly trend, uptrend, daily trend, uptrend, right? And there's all sorts of levels in here. I'll go over them. And the question has been the 4-hour, which has been in a downtrend state. How do I know what's an uptrend, what's a downtrend? Well, of course, I have a video for you on that in the Trading Encyclopedia. It basically says what's an uptrend, what's a downtrend. It's priced below a falling MA 200. So the question has been, At what point will the 4-hour rejoin the larger trend, right? At what point will the 4-hour rejoin the daily and the weekly trend? And so, everybody's been looking at this and talking about this pretty closely, this structure here. It's a very clear, two-level filter, right? And what's the two-level filter? Of course, I have a video on that, but and apologies for repeating things. I just assume most people, haven't watched my videos, so I try to teach it fresh every time. But the two-level filter is a way for you to not necessarily anticipate when a trend is turning around, but take a benefit from it actually turning around when it does, when it confirms. So you have a type of a falling supply trend, and rather than jumping in here, you don't want to do that. You can ride the trend line down. You mark out a key lower high, right? Some type of a level support that turned in resistance. So you would wait and take that break here when the trend turns around, the 2-level or a second level filter, okay? And so we see that essentially on the 4-hour. While we've been watching the 4-hour to rejoin the trend, it gave us a very clean, a very simple, 2-level filter. You've got your descending supply trend, and then you've got a very well-defined lower high break here, right around, 113.2. I've been talking about that in Bitcoin Live and Twitter as well. So we had a nice little local breakout, local meaning nearby and recent. And so the 4-hour now is attempting to rejoin the larger trend. What's up, Mohammed, Ryan, Influence, good to see you. What's up, Toof? Assalamu alaikum, you too, my friend. Thank you for saying that. You as well, brother. I'll get to your questions in a second. Gilbert, good question. Folks, keep them coming. So 4 hours trying to rejoin the daily trend and the weekly trend. And that's been the context, right? We are still potentially in a consolidating phase on the weekly. I'm personally not convinced yet that we're just going to shoot right back up, and retest these highs. I still think it's reasonable to kind of churn and consolidate in this range and maybe even make it back to the MA50, which has been kind of the final boss, in the consolidation. And what I've been talking about is really the difference between this structure and this one, right? What's different here versus here is that we've got the Ethereum breakout versus Bitcoin here, making you a little bit more cautious. But we're still potentially in a consolidating phase on the weekly. And because of that, my sense has been, and I talked about this, Friday, I talked about this on the Bitcoin Live Wednesday report, is I don't expect it to just break through here. Rather, what I talked about, and even test the 117K breakout level, what I said in my report was we have a breakout. I think there's one more leg in here, meaning move up, a consolidation, and then a push, and then an attempt. Like, I don't expect it to shoot up. I expect it to make it halfway, 2/3 of the way there, and then consolidate. And we maybe are beginning that. We can kind of dig into that. But this will allow me to talk about a tweet I put out last night, okay? I did mention here, but Bitcoin, this is 13 hours ago, Bitcoin probably consolidates before trying to punch through 117K. What that means is, and we'll kind of view it on the 4-hour, and perhaps it's a little bit easier to visualize. So my thinking would be, rather than after this breakout, given the kind of the weekly picture, the consolidating picture, rather than push right through to here, I expected more of a push, consolidate, and then try something like that, right? And if we're kind of, potentially starting that, look at this 4-hour, shooting star on volume. Sure, we're at the EMA 8, but I still think we're due for a little bit of consolidation here. So I actually think we're due to consolidate, pull back, maybe test support further. Obviously still bullish, but I think it's move, consolidate, and then move, and then attempt to break. And let's see, I also said, here we go. So that's why I put this tweet. So I've talked about this a lot. Bitcoin lower to upper BB. It's a Bollinger Band. I have a video on the Bollinger Bands for you, of course, Trading Encyclopedia, my friends. A lower to upper Bollinger Band move in the daily. So when I say that all the time on like a 4-hour or daily, what that basically means is, look for a pivot. When you see me make this tweet, and I've explained this before, I'm not like just making this up out of nowhere. It's clearly in the structure of lower highs, and we're in a structure of lower lows. So when you make a lower to upper Bollinger Band move in a corrective state, you want to be on watch, because you're probably going to pause, maybe come back again, maybe test support, and that would be beautiful. That'd be logical, right? Hey, you too, Reggie. God bless you too, brother. So that's what that tweet is basically telling you. We made a lower to upper Bollinger Band move in in this kind of corrective environment, which means, okay, we had a local breakout, but I don't think it's going to shoot through. I think it's going to pause and retest support before continuing. And that's kind of talking you through in a very quick manner, right? I could go on in more detail. I'll spare you that because I want to get to your questions. These are some great questions. I want to make this interactive. I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to hear your thoughts. And again, thank you folks for being here. So lower to upper band correct in the corrective phase. I think we're on watch for some type of throwback, some type of a consolidation, and then an attempt at 117K. All right. Now, Ethereum just had a breakout. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Did I mention beautiful? That is gorgeous. And if you look at the 4-hour structure, you can see a very well-defined overhead level. This is something I love. I don't care what the chart is. When I get this type of a level, you want to pay attention to it. In classical charting, I have a video on this, of course. I should get a t-shirt, I have a video on this. When you have a level like this, it's formed with all these multiple attempts. You have what's called time interval in between the attempts. You have price distance, peak to trough. The more times the level is tested, the more important it is. And more often it's tested, the more likely it is to break. And so you kind of almost have to take a long in the break here at 4,500. So you're long from that again. You could have been long here in a retest. You could have been long many, many times earlier, but Ethereum just gave you a brand new breakout signal. You can see it on the daily chart. And Ethereum is, writ large, overall outperforming Bitcoin. We see the move here on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, a brief pause and rest, and probably continuation on that trend. So Ethereum is looking ripe. It's looking super strong. Yes, I would play a throwback to that level. Solana, boom. I was thinking Solana might chop more. So Solana actually outperformed my expectations a little bit. It was just a little bit stronger than I had anticipated. Would love to buy a throwback to around the 200, 205 level. We kind of step back, put into context this move. The price is now heading right back into major overhead. So we'll see what happens. It probably will pause and slow down around 250, and then we'll come back and see what happens here. But it's a beautiful breakout. You want to play a throwback if you get an opportunity. Solana breaking out, Ethereum breaking out, some of these other altcoins we'll look at. There's a very healthy environment overall in the market, right? So that is my quick, whatever, 5-10 minute spiel on where I think the market is. But I want to hear from you now. This is your opportunity. James says, I don't know what it is that bothers me here, but I'm here. Tell me, brother. What do you mean, James? How can I help, my friend? It's great to have you, James. All right, let's start. Let's see here. What is going on? Let's see. You're welcome, John. Okay, Ryan says, great interview with Fibbo. I really enjoyed talking to Mr. Fib. In the long-form interview series. This is the most recent one I published, Fibbo Swanee. I'll try to do at least one a month. And a lot of people that a lot of names that I have them lined up, and we're kind of working out the dates. So we'll have that here for you shortly. But he says, basically, I would love to know how he set up his RSI indicator to have bull and bear zones and how he calculates that. That looked really interesting. Yeah. Drop him a comment and reply even to the video. I think he's reading the video. Maybe he'll respond. I think he's checking that out. So that was really interesting. So Gilbert wants to know, what's the max leverage you use in your futures trades? I honestly rarely go over like a 5x. I'm an old, grumpy old man. I've done okay in life, and I want to keep what I have. And I just don't like a lot of leverage. Not that I'm against it. There are way better traders than me. I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to be like the best trader in the planet. I'm trying to be like the best Cheds trader, the best me. So I generally am not going over 5x, and a lot of times even less, because I like to just set a position with kind of a daily or a weekly trend in mind and just let it ride. I don't want to have to check it all the time. I don't like that. I don't want it to own me because I have so many projects, so many things I'm working on. I want to work, I want to work on that stuff. So, all right, can I do TA on gold? Sure. Let's take a look at it. I think I have gold on this watch list. XAU. All right. Wow. Gold is ridiculous. Silver's ridiculous. We'll go to a weekly time frame. This is a very mature asset. It has plenty of price history. I don't know that we need to restrict ourselves to just a daily time frame. You see on the weekly time frame, Look at this price distance, expanding price distance to the MA200. This is kind of going parabolic, okay? Held in the MA20 nicely. It's held in the MA20 since, 2K. And then you see a very nice ascending triangle breakout or symmetrical triangle breakout. It doesn't quite matter. You can get stuck all day trying to decide, do I draw it like this or do I draw it like that? I'll tell you the answer. It doesn't matter. It's consolidation after an advance. You don't have to get hung up on how you name it. What really matters is I think the horizontal level gives you better overhead structure right around 3,400. Therefore, that would be a throwback target. But gold looks super, super, super strong. You could do, any kind of measured move if you want to get a sense of where do you think it might go before pausing. You can take the height of the triangle and you can extend it out. I'm here on logarithmic. Oh, sorry. I'm here on logarithmic, and you're going to get something. You're going to get something roughly to around 3,800, just based on a simple measured move. It looks super strong. Okay, can you look at euro dollar, or what do you want me to look at, Matej? I'm going to USD versus the euro, or I think it's usually euro USD is the pair. I don't know if I have it on here. I used to have a pretty good. Let's do euro versus dollar. Let's go back to all. And let's go euro versus dollar. Let's do it featured. I don't know what featured means. That's interesting. Okay, let's take a look at euro versus the dollar. I mean, this looks bullish to me. This consolidation here. This looks bullish to me here. This local, this looks like a bullish consolidation, probably going to push higher. It is just below, right? Lost support. And within the context of a broader lower high structure. You have a big higher low, you've got your oops, or you've got your spring, your deviation, your Wyckoff, whatever you want to call it. Breakout here and throwback. I think it's pausing before pushing up and trying again. So I think this probably will go higher. That's my thought on that. Could you do a TA on Doge? Yeah. I was actually wrong in Doge. I actually thought it was going to go lower. I didn't like it. A lot of people were bullish on it, and I kind of made fun of them, and that it came back to bite me. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. I'm always going to be honest. I'm not always right. I mean, I'm definitely not always right, but I'm always trying to be right. We'll take a look at Doge. Wow, 26 cents. I was looking at this descending triangle. We have a bullish break. Pardon me. Let's go to the daily. So we actually have a bullish break of a descent. I hate how... trying to grab the pointer. You actually have a bullish break of a descending triangle, which is one of the best performing patterns, according to Bulkowski, when he ran. There's a book called The Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. You should check it out if you're interested. You can also go to the pattern site, but this is just a very clear two-level filter. It's a bullish break of a descending triangle. I think you'd want to buy around 24.50. So that's a nice little mojo break on Doge. Generally still, though, in a rounding bottom, with the peak here around 26, 27 cents. So you can look at this as structure within larger structure. You kind of have like a double bottom that failed, but continued with this rounding bottom type structure. And with that, you have higher lows, right? You've got rising demand, more aggressive buyers pushing into the breakout level. And with that, you have the local break, the descending triangle breaking out. So let's see. I don't know. I'm skeptical that it's just going to punch through here, 27.5, 28 cents. But there's definitely some mojo, some momentum. And I think it would be reasonable if it does reject here, which is logical, to look to buy a throwback 24.5. What's up, Cathartis? Can't be bothered around King Cheds. Thank you, man. Thanks for chilling. Let's see. Please, Pengu. Sure. I think I have Pengu on the list. Right here. So what do we think about Pengu? Shooting star forming. However, this is a good example of we don't want to, my friends, we don't want to overanalyze this candle. There's still 7 hours, 8 hours left. That's 1/3. That's 1/3 of the candle, right? So this isn't necessarily a shooting star yet. It could very easily close in the middle or the upper part of the range. Thus far, we just have a push to the upper Bollinger Band, and you have a potential upthrust, potential upthrust with a temporary break and inability to hold above the August peak. What's important here is observing an advance into lower high structure, lower low structure, support established, trend break, and looking to confirm here on the break an initial pause. So this probably needs to consolidate more, but overall it's a bullish chart. I would pay attention to the price interaction with this level. You could potentially target a throwback to the 031 area. DGen Anav, what's up, man? Says, do you think there will be a deeper correction and after that continuing bull until late December? I don't know. I don't understand thinking that way. Like, we're in September. Like, why am I trying to anticipate what December is going to look like? Ask me at the end of November. Like, we need more time, man. I just gave you my like full opinion on Bitcoin. Look at BNB over 900. This thing is just cranking bullish. I mean, this thing has just been gorgeous. So, I mean, say what you want about BNB. This is a market leader. Yeah, look, Anev, like, do I think there will be a deeper correction? I did mention I thought pretty thorough manner, my view on the weekly, daily, 4-hour, and how the weekly's in a consolidating phase. And it's certainly possible that we get the MA50 in the weekly. It's just a question of where the price might be. It could be all the way up here. I'm not going to anticipate or predict we're going to get a deeper consolidation. I'm certainly not going to predict we're going to do this, then this, then this. I mean, what is the point of that? What is the point of trying to predict what's going to happen in December? Like, man, like, focus on the now. Like, in trading, you have to focus on right now. Like, that's all you've got. Stay nearby. You could get new information tomorrow, completely blow out your thesis. So why spend all this time trying to predict December? I don't understand that. Samuel wants to know how I view the 233 to 238 level in the monthly chart. I did just talk about Solana, and here on the monthly chart, I don't know that this chart is old enough for monthly. I don't know, it's not. There is no MA200, so there is no monthly chart, right? This chart is far too young. Weekly is the highest time frame you can go on this chart and still do valid classical charting in my read of the literature, because you need an MA200. And you very clearly have a price push into high time frame range peak. And I went over it earlier. I think it's logical to see a pause, look for a throwback. What do I think about Sui? What's up, Mohammed? Sure. What do you think about Sui? I'm just going down the line. Maybe I can get to all your requests today. There's only about 70 of you, so I might be able to have time. Sometimes there's more. And if I miss your comment, I do apologize, but it's just me. I'm just chilling here, listening to music with you folks, having a little fun before I get lunch. What do I think about Sui? Yeah, look at here in the weekly. The price is nearing a decision time, but you've got the ascending triangle look. It is bullish. It needs some time. It held where you'd like to see it hold, 325. That's a level I've been watching. It held there, and it's working its way towards the breakout level. Generally, this looks pretty good, and if you had to guess, this will continue higher. Okay. Let's see. Toof wants to know, what do I think about coin? Sure. Let's see. I don't have Coinbase up here, but I'm happy to pull it up. Happy to pull it up. How's everybody doing? How's your Friday? You guys have fun plans for the weekend or what? What are you guys going to do this weekend? I think I might go play some poker. I am, you know, I'm doing research, right? I'm going to play poker. I'm doing research for my next book, which is a poker and trading crossover book. I have the outline, but it's going to take me a few years to write. Writing books is such a burnout process. I'm almost done recording the audiobook for my 4th book. You know, you guys know the Trading Journal. It's out right now. I'm almost done recording the audiobook. It just takes a lot of work, so be patient. I'll get it out. So what do I think about Coinbase? I mean, that's nice. It's a nice looking chart here in the weekly. I think important for it, broadly speaking, you can think about this as a cup and handle, and normally, and cup and handle performs best as a continuation pattern, but can be a reversal pattern. And generally, you're going to want to see it hold the range of the cup, right around 300. We can zoom in. We can kind of try to figure out what's going on here with the local trend. We got the Bollinger pinch. You know, we have this Bollinger pinch. I mean, basically, the Bollingers are basically responding to the, you know, the volatility, and the bands are reflective of 2 standard deviations of volatility, you know, in the market. And so in the market, in the security it's looking at, and basically after you've been in a period of a lack of volatility, the Bollinger bands tighten. You get the middle band, the 20 as well. So it's the standard deviations around the centered band. it's presages or suggests you've got volatility coming. You have price here consolidating just below this gap, this window. You could see a push up. I would be careful if the price attempts to reclaim the top of the window or the gap around 360, but generally it needs time after this massive breakout, but I do like it. Rising demand structure. I would rather be a bull than a bear, certainly high time frame. Gilbert, what up, brother? Let's see. Gilbert's talking about Ethereum. All right, we did see a kind of a, not historic, but we saw the Bollinger pinch tightest Bollinger Bands here in the 4-hour since June. I tweeted that out. See, nice follow through in that. Ethereum had a lot of doji from the past 3 weeks, still at a breakout. Yeah. Which among those dojis should be ignored and which are important? That's like a really complicated question. It's a good question, Gilbert. Gilbert, have you watched the Trading Encyclopedia? I talk a lot about what a doji is. I talk about how to, how to process these things, but how do we put it into context? Well, okay, so after a move down, some type of a doji, just call it a straight up doji, right? This, where you just have, not even like a long leg doji, just a little doji, basically meaning even open close. Say after a move down, that's a sign that this prior force has really paused. The prior force has been slowed down and challenged. You start to get a couple doji. Now you're talking about potential for a tower bottom, right? Where price has really slowed down. Volume as well is interesting too. If you have something like this, say you have like a dragonfly doji, right? So it was just a bullish reversal, move down into the dragonfly doji in heavy volume. That would be a really nice buy signal. Same thing with a move up into a gravestone doji, right? You want to look because this shows attempted bounce. It was faded, so it's a little bit of nuance, but and I talk a lot about. I have a video on candle body progression, and I talk about dojis. Well, just search for it in the Trading Encyclopedia. That will give you a good sense of how to interpret the doji. It's where it comes in the trend, how many doji there are, all that good stuff. Gilbert, is there a CMT online course? Well, CMT, you take it online, but the textbook, this is right here. This is the level 2 textbook. I'm reading it right now. I've been reading it for the last couple of years, but I'm going through. You can read the CMT textbook. Honestly, I'm taking everything in the textbooks and I'm making videos on it for you. So like if you watch all my videos, you will be, 2/3 of the way towards getting CMT 1. And that's kind of my goal. Let's see. What's my strategy to learn poker exponentially? I don't know about that, but I've played poker. I've played poker for like 20 years, so I'm pretty good. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm great, but there was a time when I actually played poker for a living, like back around like post-college days. So I'm pretty good. Let's see. How many trades do you advise one takes a day? This is an interesting question. How many do you take a day? Well, I mean, how many can you manage? Number one. Number two, the fewer the better, I think, ideally. If you're watching 5 pairs, well, and the price is at a key level in almost all of them, I'd probably take all 5. If you think you can handle them, if you have confidence in your ability to manage them, if you have to go work a day job and you can't look at your phone, then maybe don't do it. But if you're trading from your computer, you're able to watch it, you could take 5 trades, set your stop loss, and then keep an eye on them. And then figure out your confirmation method. I have a video on, how do you confirm a breakdown? How do you confirm a breakout? And it really has a lot to do, we'll sort by most popular. It has a lot to do with your risk management, right? Are you aggressive? Are you cautious? Can you watch it? So you figure out your confirmation method, how many candle closes, that type of thing. But that's a good question, Tyson. It's very interesting. Let's see here. I covered all that good stuff. You got a lot of great questions today, folks. Thank you. All right, what do we got here? Catharsis music. Do you find single candle signals like doji hammers more effective, or do you use multi-candle force? Okay. What's the biggest misconception new traders have about candle patterns? This is a really great question. So here's the big one, right? All Japanese candlestick patterns are short-term reversal patterns. All of them, right? So people think, let's say you had like a gravestone doji up here. It doesn't mean you're going to drop down here. It just means it's likely a move back maybe to the middle Bollinger Band or something, right? The biggest conception is people think like a Japanese candlestick means like a high time frame reversal. Not really. They're short-term reversal patterns. You have to use classical charting as well, okay? Do I find candle signals more effective? I find them effective with context, right? So this is a great question. And again, I have a video on the hammer candle, right? If you want to know how to use it. But let's take a hammer candle, for example. I'm going to draw some Bollinger Bands. We'll do that. And then let's see. The bands are coming. You're coming from a downtrend. So something like this, right? Okay, so you got to move down. Boom, boom, boom. And then boom. And here's your hammer. Say a hammer candle forms. Small real candle body, lower shadow, at least 2 times the length of the candle body, right? That's a hammer candle. So hammer candle, I want to come after and move down. If it was a hammer candle like here in the middle of the channel, here's the middle Bollinger Band. If it was a hammer candle here, you know, this doesn't really mean so much. Hammer candles at the lower Bollinger Bands, big deal, right? I have a video. I actually literally have a video on using Bollinger Bands with candlesticks. It really helps you. So you need a reversal candle. If you want a bearish reversal candle, you want it at the upper Bollinger Band. You want a bullish reversal candle at the lower Bollinger Band. How strong is the trend coming before it, right? Sideways into a hammer doesn't mean anything. There's that context. And then volume is important. If, in my example here, casual volume and then big volume in the hammer, that's probably a short-term bottom. So that's just important context. People miss context clues. I see people trying to do, you know, Japanese candlestick theory without volume. That's a little bit of a mistake. So great questions. I hope you folks are enjoying these streams. I want to just quickly remind you, I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. I'm working with a new exchange for U.S. folks. Check out edgeX. You're looking for somewhere to trade. Check out BingX. A lot of great stuff on my YouTube. I've got, I didn't mention, but my 3rd book is Trading Quotes. I've been recording the whole book for free, right? I'm already all the way up 24, 25. So I'm almost halfway through with the book. I'll do the whole book for you for free. You probably see my quotes. You may enjoy them. I don't know if you do or not, but I hope you do. And then I explain them, and hopefully you're enjoying that value. But you got to binge watch this playlist, the Trading Encyclopedia. It's really going to help you. These are 3-minute videos to teach you professional technical analysis concepts, right? And if you don't see a video on a subject you're looking for, let me know and I'll make it. I've already pre-recorded videos all the way through the year. It's a brand new one every day. Like, what's the profit to stop loss ratio? What's an uptrend? You know, what's a 3 inside down? How do I use on-balance volume? I have video for MACD, a video for RSI, a video for rate of change, a video for commodity channel index. What's an EMA, SMA? Which one should I use? You folks really got to binge watch that. Catharsis says, love your encyclopedia. Thank you, brother. And thank you, Gilbert, for saying that. Samuel says, how do you approach positions that you hold for a longer time period versus trading futures? For example, if you've had spot for years, do you have a system when to sell? Interesting. So, I mean, obviously with futures, you've got decay, right? You've got theta, or you've got, you know, like funding, and all that stuff. If you're holding spot for years, I mean, I have some spot for sure that I'm holding from when I announced the bottom back in January 2022, right here, right? I have some spot from here. I pretty much sold all my Bitcoin that was left up here. I took a little bit off the top here. I tweeted it out live. Got rid of the rest here when I told you folks it was going to 15K, 12K. And then I got back in pretty good right around here. I still have, you know, 20 or 30% of my initial bag from here, right? And I've held that for years. I don't think I'm going to sell that amount. I'm probably going to hold that. And I've been trading a lot in between here and there. So it's a question of like if you're just holding for years, you're probably like, you know, investing your dollar cost average and you're just holding, then hold. But if it's a trade, have an idea in mind, right? If you're trading, you know, maybe, you know, you could even take a little bit on a breakout, sell 3%, sell a little bit, scale out slowly, pay yourself slowly along the way. That's certainly one way to do it. If your thesis is you want to hold it because it's going to 250K, then hold it till 250K, but have an idea in mind of where, like, the idea might go wrong, where you might reassess and say, maybe it's not going to 250K. Because you know, you want to pay yourself for a good idea. So like taking profits, okay, right? How effective are Japanese candlesticks in U.S. equities compared to crypto? It's the same. It works great. Forex works on crypto. You can use candlesticks on any market. You don't even have to use candlesticks. You can use bar charts, right? Open, high, low, close candle. You could use line chart in theory and just focus on structure. But I'm kind of a, you know, Japanese candlestick aficionado. I think a lot of people think of me as a candlestick expert. I still have learning to go, but I am kind of the go-to guy on crypto Twitter for candlesticks. they work really well, but they also work well in equities. I've had some wonderful equities trades using candlesticks, but understanding that they are short-term patterns, short-term reversal signals, and you want to understand the broader context. It also works well with classical charting, which I have a pretty good background in as well, you know, which is Western TA. So I think it's healthy to have both of those. So, all right, folks, thanks for chilling here. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's Friday. I hope you all have wonderful plans for the weekend. I've enjoyed this live stream. I really encourage you to just watch my videos, soak it up, and give me feedback. Let me know what you want to see more of. Check out the interviews. If you let me know who you want to see me interview. Reach out to them. Reach out to me, and I'll get the ball rolling as well. I try to be more active on YouTube. I mean, I have new videos literally every day. I try to stream more. But sometimes I've got stuff going on, right? And so I'll try to stream at least once a week, right? Bitcoin Live, I haven't skipped in 7 years. I do this twice a week, full market report, so check that out. Samuel says, thank you for all your help, incredible resource. Thank you. Love you too. Love you too. It says bong hits for everyone. Thank you, Quaz. You too, brother. I actually haven't hit the bong in years. I don't know if like YouTube will ding me for saying that, but I haven't, I'm more of a dry vape guy, but in any case, that is besides the point. Let's end it here. It's been a fun stream, folks. We're gonna dance together, Church of 8 Wheels, and then let's all have an awesome weekend together. Hit me up on Twitter, leave comments on my videos, and I'll try to stream on Tuesday. Tuesday, Fridays are the days, and we'll go from there. Gilbert says, "Can you interview Bob Lucas?" Gilbert, I literally have Bob Lucas interviewed already, right here. How about that? He is my colleague. He's my friend. I've already interviewed Bob Lucas. So, all right, we're gonna jam it out there, folks. Have an awesome time. Big Cheds loves you. Let's do this. Thank you, everybody. Big Chad out.